Hello, hockey, basketball, and soccer fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video a bit after 10 on the evening of, was it Thursday or Wednesday, 25th of October 2023, North American Eastern Time. Thought I would go through a recap of games that have so far taken place this week among Canadian NBA and NHL teams, as well as games to come among such teams and MLS ones. So I'm going to start off with the with the MLS, the upcoming MLS Cup playoff series. It's a conference quarterfinal between the Vancouver Whitecaps and the defending champion Los Angeles FC. So yeah, I'm just gonna go. There we go. Here, just gonna see here. So yes, yeah. Let's see if I can get there. Yeah, Los Angeles FC. So that's defending MLS Cup champion be facing the Vancouver Whitecaps. So for a best 2 out of 3 series. So the first game of that series will be on Saturday evening Eastern Time at the whatever home arena LAFC has. So just gonna look at that there. So it's at BMO Stadium. Be playing there. Gonna be playing. Alright, we go to. Where is there? Game team will be at BC Place. Where there will be game 2 of that series. There, just gonna go. Yeah, it's gonna be BC Place for game 2 to be this weekend. It's coming weekend 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll be on the Sunday, 5th of November Eastern Time, and if the series is tied up by then, there'll be another one on Thursday, 9th of November Eastern Time. So what will happen should the Whitecaps win that playoff series? Well, if that happens, the Whitecaps will face the winner of the Seattle Sounders FC Dallas series. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because it's hard to know how that series, with LAFC will go for the Whitecaps. I mentioned the Whitecaps because the Whitecaps were the only Canadian MLS team to qualify for a playoff spot. CFC Montreal was eliminated last weekend in a 2-1 loss to the Columbus Crew. So yeah, Major League Soccer out of the way now. So it's gonna time to go to the Raptors and a big win, albeit a close one. So it was a 97-94 win at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, also known as the T-Wolves. So some highlights in that game. 4 of 5 starters earned at least double-digit points, with OG Anunoby and Dennis Schroeder having put up at least 20 apiece. Scotty Barnes, even shooting a 6 for 16 on field goal attempts, put up 17. Bench production was not the best, could be worse, but no bench player put up 10 or more points. So, and among bench players, Gary Trent Jr. and Grady Dick put up plus minuses of above 0, so they actually earned their team more points when they were on the court than not. The other bench players, did not put up a whole bunch of points. And with Malachi Flynn, point guard, with minus 14. No player among the starting five. Siakam, Anunoby, Barnes, Pirtle, and Schroeder had a plus minus below +2. That was Sky Barnes' zone. So overall, very good even for the Raptors. Next game will be broadcast on TSN. Will be on Friday, 27th of October Eastern Time. It'll be an away game against the Chicago Bulls at the United Center. So yeah, the Raptors thought it would go down to the Frozen series, Frozen 32 series of games. Huge number of games played. On what was there? Tuesday Eastern Time. Whole bunch of broadcasts. In the contiguous United States on ESPN a lot of the time, and Canada, some games were broadcast on Sportsnet, the others were broadcast on TSN. The game, some of the games I viewed, among the Canadian teams, the games that in terms of geographical order, in terms of longitude from Western East Canada, Jets, Leafs, Sens, and Habs games were all broadcast on TSN. The other Canadian teams' games were broadcast on different Sportsnet channels. It kind of sucked that didn't get to watch any of the Canucks game. I would have liked to, but for unknown reasons, the channel did not work. I don't know why it didn't work, but I got the radio feed, Sportsnet 650, and a 3-2 regulation win over the Preds. So, among Canadian teams, the Leafs beat the Caps 4-1, and an outstanding performance by Joe Woll, a brick wall originally from Eastern Missouri. A young goalie, but I have some hope that he can be that stud who the Leafs have for so long searched among goalies they have drafted. And that's the thing. There are goalies who are drafted all the time, but it's difficult to think of too many who have been really good for the Leafs. And obviously for Canadian for Canadian under 18, under 20, and adult men's teams, it's been kind of a mixed bag. During the most recent International Ice Hockey Federation tournament season, the for the World Juniors, pretty good. For the adult men's team, Sam Montembeault, Habs goalie was very good. For the under 18 men, you have the under 18 women, and women were pretty good as well. Under 18 men, not so good. Yes, May of this year, I looked at the lineup for the adult men's team for Canada, and I think the under 18 men's team. I'm thinking, it's unfamiliar. Those names, like maybe they'll still spark out of the gate, do amazingly, and the rest will be history. Against the Swedish under 18 men's team, that was not the case during that top division tournament, and it was a bronze medal, but Carson Bjornsson wasn't great in either of those games against the Swedish national team. And he was drafted, I believe, by the Philadelphia Flyers, and was not in the first round. But at least I got, I try to think about, the names, familiar names, Adam Fantilli. I think it was last year at the under 18 men's tournament. I could try to watch the international tournaments to figure out, if there are any draftees coming from those. In the IHF tournaments, at least on the men's side, because I don't watch a lot of women's hockey games or men's one, NHL. Shoo! Yeah, WNBA, it doesn't help that not necessarily on highly broadcast on TV. At least not as widely promoted. But I like the NHL. It's very good. It's got very, very good entertainment. So yeah, so where to go back there? So you have the Leafs having beaten the Jets having beaten the Blues 4-2. The Leafs having beaten the Caps 4-1. And the Canucks, I just forgot, the Canucks having beaten the Preds 3-2 in regulation. Overall, very good night for those three teams. So the Habs, Habs lost to the Devils 5-2, basically throwing defense under the bus. Excuse me. Yeah, the Habs looked good at first. I mean, bit under 60 minutes in, Justin Barron from Mike Pizzetta having put the Habs up ahead. Then it was kind of the Devils having gone to town from 13-minute mark of the first period, right through to a bit past 7-minute mark of the third, and then Mike Matheson on a power play, assisted by Cole Caulfield. Gold Caulfield is also nicknamed at times, but cut the Habs deficit from 5-1 to 5-2, or 4-1 to 4-2, and then it was 5-2. Tyler Toffoli, a former Flame, having pot and empty netter, assisted by Jack Hughes, to put the Devils up ahead for good. It was kind of lifeless. Habs were outshot 34-29, so close on shots, but where it really mattered in the games, they didn't. Face-offs weren't even close at all. Devils having won over 60% of the face-offs, the Habs under 40%. So yeah, that's we're gonna go to where did it go here? So we have the Canucks there. Oh, gotta go. The Flames lost to the Rangers, and with Flames having been Shesterkined by Igor Shesterkin, but getting traffic in front of opposition goalies has been a big problem. The shots were 26-20 in favor of the Flames. And an overwhelming majority of the face-offs, just over 60% of them. Where do we go here in terms of the box score here, in terms of the face-offs? Played pretty good with the draws, but they didn't take the most of them. When you look at that, Backlund 71%, Elias Lindholm 66.7%. No defenseman took a face-off. Those are the big ones in terms of at least players who've taken at least 5 face-offs. Nazem Kadri won just over 45%, so 5 of 11 face-offs. Not good. For the Rangers, kind of not great numbers. Well, it's kind of a mixed bag in terms of face-offs. One, who took at least 5 face-offs. No defenseman took a face-off, but Panino who won 5 of 11. Filipino 2 of 7. Vincent Trocheck 8 of 13, and Mika Zibanejad just 3 of 14. Incredibly bad. So I wonder why the Rangers ended up winning. I think it was because they made the most of their possession. As limited as it might have been, there'll be a rematch at Madison Square Garden on the 12th of 12th of February. Excuse me. Yeah, it's American date order, month, day, year, as opposed to the British date order, which is day, month, year, same as used across Australia, across Australian jurisdictions. I like to use the Australian date order, which goes like the British one. Have it set on any laptop that I use. Day, month, year, which is very, very good. So yeah, it's time to get the Senators, and it was rough. I'm just gonna go 6-4 favor the Sabres. Thinking, it's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, good. Finnish goalie favor the Sabres, pretty good. Yeah, things are looking good. Things are looking good for the Sabres. 5-1. What could go wrong? Or Sens are finished. There were so many games that I just I was just flipping channels, just figuring out. Well, it just, so you figure, yeah, I figure the Sens were going to lose, so why not go to another game and find out what happens. Oops, I don't even mean to go with the Sabres there. So, but yeah, 6-4, basically throwing defense under the bus. And, I mean, just, well, we'll go back first to the Flames game. And, where do you go here? I mean, it was just a game of, they don't just, the Flames don't really have any finishers. And it was a couple power play goals from Alexis Lafreniere, assist by Eric Gustafsson, Filipino, then Chris Kreider from Artemi Panarin and Adam Fox. So yeah, 2 costly penalties for the Flames. So Flames took 5 penalties, but it was those in the second period that proved the costliest. So so Matt Coronado holding against Jacob Trouba, and Nikita's 1409. So that means Nikita Zadorov holding against Vincent Trocheck. Yeah. But the others were kind of also momentum killers. They didn't really produce momentum. Yes, Flames ended up winning an overwhelming majority of face-offs, but they didn't produce, they were momentum killers. No scoring goals, no allowing goals, just kill momentum. No good. 5 penalties, 5 shorthanded situations, and, well, predictably, and they're thinking third period, yeah, at the very end when they really needed that momentum, just interference from Chris Tanev, Blake Coleman hooking against Adam Fox, 5-on-3 disadvantage. Yes, the Flames killed it off, but their night was done. So costly penalties, and they don't have finishers like 2 off seasons ago. Brad Living, then the GM, went on an acquisition binge. Well, trying to trade Matt Tkachuk, who had claimed to have not wanted to stay with the Flames, for Jonathan Huberdeau, Kenzie Weegar, Cole Schmidt, who leaves the Wranglers, and maybe a draft pick or 2. Whatever, I don't know. I have to look at the trade to find out what it is. But overall, that Flames team looked punchless. And so on Sunday Eastern Time, it's going to be a crucial game for the Flames. It's going to be 7 Eastern Time start. Be broadcast on TBS. TBS among American TV networks. It will be a Sportsnet among Canadian TV networks. Yeah, it will be the only game on that 29th of October Eastern Time to feature a Canadian NHL team in action. And I'm just going to see here, see about the Raptors and see if there's any games coming out there. So the Raptors will be playing on Saturday. It's a 7:30 Eastern Time start. After having played on Friday against the Chicago Bulls. So we're going to go to turn to the other game. So Sens pretty much threw defense under the bus. And there are legitimate questions now about whether the Sens can right this ship. It's not looking too good. We got 3 wins and 3 regulation losses. And as of now, and after games that had begun on Tuesday Eastern Time had all wrapped up, the Sens had dropped out of a top 3 divisional spot and into 4th in the Eastern Conference wildcard race, to be behind even the Habs. Well, the Habs had superior points percentage, so if you have 3-2-0-1 win, regulation, loss, overtime, loss, shootout, loss record, and that means that extra point is huge. So the Habs are 3rd in the wildcard race in that conference, Sens 4th, but at least during the goal difference, or at least on goal difference, Sens have the advantage, +4 to -1 for the Panthers. And in terms of actual games played, Sens and Panthers have each played fewer at 6 than the Sabres and Canes at 7. But it's tight there. Cats have 3 points in 5 games, dead last in the Eastern Conference. But again, it's Let's see what the updated stands are. So as of this Wednesday Eastern time, Sens are still in fourth. I believe there were only just one game or so that was played on Sunday. It was Capitals and Devils. Well, Caps ended up winning, so they move up. So Caps move up by one spot. So they are now second last in the Eastern Conference wildcard race with 5 points and a 2-3, 1-0 record. Devils are in third with a 3-2, 0-1 record. 7 points, tied with the Flyers for top for second, but on terms of regulation wins, Flyers have 3, Devils 2. So that breaks the tie for within the top 3 in the Metro. Blue Jackets are in fourth because of, well, I don't know, -2 goal difference. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. So enough of that. So I'm gonna go to the Oilers and how they're doing it. So I'm gonna go to. So yeah, now go with the Oilers, and it's been a rough go. The Oilers are near the bottom of the Western Conference, the second last in that conference. Yes, when it comes to draft order, in terms of odds pick first overall, to take NHL standings as a whole, but in terms of postseason, whether postseason or bust, look at only the Western Conference standings, and those Oilers are just not looking good. In second last in their own conference with 3 points over 6 games. The only 3 points via a win over the Preds, a big one, and an overtime loss to the Jets last weekend, and a goal difference of -10. So things aren't looking too good. Although the Flames' goal difference of -9 is looking much better. So I'm gonna we'll talk quite a bit about that game. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's 3 straight losses. Well, 3 straight losses. 2 of them in regulation, and 1 in overtime. And Jack Campbell being used. It seems though Jake Woodcroft has had issues with figuring out the goaltending, because it's not been good. It's and maybe the pressure is growing on changes on the front office, and this season could be a disaster. So look at the scoring. The Oilers. So just for that, the Oilers won 60% of the face-off draws. Slightly outshot, 32-28. The Oilers took 13 minutes worth of penalties, 3 too many men ones, and the others, the couple of fighting related ones. Vander Kane, late in the first period for fighting major against Brad Duhaime, and Vince Desharnais, 14-21 mark of the third period, roughing against Marcus Foligno. So it was Marcus Foligno roughing against Vince Desharnais. So the penalties kind of canceled each other out. So basically, there were 3 shorthand situations the others had, and yeah, look at that. I don't know what was costly there. Were they costly? The Oilers seem to do quite well in their PK and actually score in their power play, but in terms of Connor McDavid or not, didn't seem to be a problem for the Oilers in terms of scoring goals. When it came to defending, it was a much bigger problem. Just having some tea here. Tim Hortons, my Canada favorite tea. I'm not sponsoring anything, just more, or being sponsored just more. Just like the taste. It's very good. It's with the right amount of sugar. It's provides a very much needed caffeine hit. And I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't like to drink. So yeah, overall, it was not a very good. It was not a very good evening for the Oilers. Very good night for the Oilers. 3-2 after the, you know, by the end of the second period. I mean, there was one goal scored, and then it was Warren Vogla, assisted by Darnell Nurse and Zach Hyman. It was put the Oilers in the lead, and then kind of sat back. Didn't really put up another goal, and then the floodgates open up. 38-second mark, Ryan Hartman for Matthew Guerrero and Kirill Kaprizov. Hartman assisted on the next goal that was scored by Matthew Guerrero, with an assist also, by Kaprizov. 10:28, Joel Eriksson Ek, assisted by former Bolt Pat Maroon and Marcus Johansson. And then it was Ryan Hartman again from Jake Middleton and Kaprizov, 15:50. And then, well, if the game hadn't been out of reach by then, it was going to be out of reach under a minute later, with Marcus Foligno having scored via an empty net goal from Eriksson Ek. So yeah, the Oilers, we didn't have. I mean, power play was good. It was okay, but the defense was just threw it under the bus. They threw it under the bus. I mean, I'm just gonna go to the Oilers, and Connor Brown's not been great for the Oilers. I mean, he didn't provide much of anything, put up a couple shots, and in just over 15 minutes of ice time. To the four producers, we have Leon Draisaitl with 2 assists, Warren Vogla with 2 goals, Hyman with a point via an assist, Evander Kane with a goal and assist, Evan Bouchard, nicknamed Bouch, goals and 2 assists, and Matthias Ekholm with an assist. Darnell Nurse had 1. But in terms of plus minuses, that were the best and worst. I can't think of any player that had like a plus minus of above 0, so there's got to have a tie there. How many players had brutal plus minuses of at least no better than -2? Going down from the list of skaters on the ESPN recap, you have Vogla with a -3, Hyman with a -2, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins a -4, Bouchard with a -3, and Ekholm with a -2. Thinking, wasn't Ekholm supposed to be like a stud defenseman? He certainly hasn't shown that way. Yes, he got a point, but you gotta be better. I mean, maybe this Oilers team is actually slow. And I mean, Connor McDavid had some hip injury, short to medium term injury reserve. So that means the Oilers can't bring someone up because they're pretty much capped out. I don't know how much cap space they have, but probably not enough to bring up any player from the minors due to too high a cap hit compared to what the cap space the Oilers have. Yeah. Defense has just been a disaster. It's very interesting on Monday, on the daytime via the Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Real Kipper and Bourne show, Craig McTavish, a one-time Oilers center, now long since retired, claimed that there had been no question the Oilers would be a 100-plus point team this season. If McTavish wasn't out of his mind back then, he sure is now. This Oilers team does not look like a 100-plus point team. I'd say the Leafs are closer to that benchmark than the Oilers. Yes, to be fair, the Leafs didn't. Not everything with the Leafs went well, but to be fair, I mean, but the Leafs got a point. They didn't control the opponent, they didn't have control over what opponent they played, but they made the most of the moment. Joe Woll was very good, and he had to be 38 shots by the Caps to 17 for the Leafs. and 53.5% face-off percentage by the Leafs. Well, okay, better than below 50, that's for sure. And penalty kill could use a lot to desire. The Leafs put up 2 power play goals and 2 goals other than on PPs. Well, both of them even strength. But yes, in terms of outside of the core, I mean, outside of the Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Matthews, Riley Quintet, we have we had some secondary point getters. Tim Liljegren having assisted on the Riley goal, Max Domi on the same goal, Tyler Bertuzzi on the Tavares goal, and John Klingberg on the fourth Leaf goal, the power play one. But hey, Klingy was good. So down to go 2 for the Leafs. See how much better the Leafs were. There was not one player on the Leafs with a plus minus of worse than 0. And that matters a great deal. And that is important because the Leafs needed to have that performance. It was just 8 games in a row, going back to preseason play, of having given up at least this many goals. Now there are, the Leafs have, what is it now, 3 straight games of having given up not more than this many goals. Time will tell, indeed, if the Leafs end up, if the Leafs indeed end up in a top 3 divisional spot. I'm really hoping they're going to do that. But the Dallas Stars aren't pushovers. But at least they're probably feeling better than anyone who tuned in to the most recent edition of the Got Your Back podcast, an Oilers-centric, an Oilers-themed podcast, mainly co-hosted by Ryan Rishaug and his TSN colleague, Jason Strudwick. Nicknamed Struddy in TSN circles. Watch that podcast and that episode, and Oilers defense disaster, no doubt. And the time for accountability had come, and there's no doubt. I mean, after that, before going into that, that Flames game against the Rangers, Nikita Zorov, who'd already claimed, quite a while back, to have been disgusted that the army of his homeland had invaded neighboring Ukraine, was going to speak his mind again. And there's no doubt that on the state of the team, in too many individual efforts. Yeah, that's and that reminds me a little bit. Sid Seixeiro last April about the Raptors, that lack of chemistry with the Raps had been why that season, according to the CTV personality, having made that claim on the relevant edition of City TV Toronto Morning Show Breakfast TV, that Rap season had been, quote, a group failure, unquote, and there had been so-called, quote, lack of togetherness on the court, unquote. Well, there was a lot of it, in that game against the Bulls, and missed free throws, distractions. Obviously that Pierce Extreme from DeMar DeRozan, a daughter of Raps legend DeMar DeRozan, and yeah, just a very underwhelming trade line, and chemistry issues again for the Flames. For the Leafs, I don't think the Dallas Stars are pushovers. And when I go check in the Central Division, yeah, second, and yet to lose a game in regulation. Among Western Conference teams, only the Golden Knights and Avs also have yet to lose a game in regulation. The Dallas Stars end up having their loss that's not in regulation in a shootout. So that means it's a very good team. These have to watch out and be careful, because these have already lost two games in regulation, and the Leafs cannot afford to take the Stars lightly. that's going to be 8 Eastern time. The other game on TSN, and then couple more games that month. Going into Nashville to face the Preds on Saturday Eastern time, and then coming home for Halloween to face the Kings. Before going back on the road to face the Bruins on next week Thursday Eastern time, and then come home again to face, go work on a multi-game homestand. So at least in terms of, technically they are the home team. A couple games in Sweden. That's why those start times are relatively early. So on the 17th and 19th of the month, it will be 2 Eastern time and 8 a.m. Eastern time. And they don't exactly go right home. They play a couple away games, back-to-backs against the Blackhawks and Penguins, and so overall, a long homestand, at least in terms of games that are at Scotiabank Arena. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. So that's impressive. And the rest of the season, the Leafs, kind of until I don't think the Leafs play more than 3 games in a row at home until well into the season, until February to March. But they do play some road games, and don't play more than 4 straight on the road. Regardless, they have to be aware that they've got to play better defensively in front of Joe Woll. After all, the Dallas Stars are a good team. At least can't underestimate them. And I believe there will be in the next 2 to 3 hours episode of the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Sports series of podcasts, via the Locked On NHL series of podcasts about the upcoming game against the Dallas Stars. It's going to have to be prepared. It's the last game here. They didn't exactly start charging out of the gate. By the 13-minute mark, the Leafs had only scored 1 goal, and they wouldn't score another until almost 6 minutes into the second period. And then when they scored another goal under a minute after their first goal of the second period. So we're up 3-0. And that was a very important stretch of time. It was under a minute. They got 2 goals. That's impressive. But again, a lot could have easily happened. They were slow. They started off slow. Even though Ovi having tried to score on a power play, he had too much momentum, and the goal was overturned because of goalie interference. But it could have been worse. The Leafs have to work better to try to get traffic from opposing teams away from goalies, not try to lure the traffic in and hope for the best. Because it could have easily been 1-0 Capitals, and that game could have gone very differently. So for the Leafs not to end up like those Oilers, Leafs have to play better. After all, who wants more repeats of what happened to the Oilers? 7-4. Because again, we know what can happen to the Leafs when they let down their guard. We'll go back to last season. Let's go see what there is here. And where do we go with the Leafs? Alright, we go back to last season. Go back to last postseason. When they had a lot of trouble against the Bulls in the beginning here. So last postseason, 7-3. That was the most goals they'd given up. They would end up giving up in any of the 11 games they would play. But that was brutal. The Leafs did ultimately score 3 goals or more. That matters. But they just didn't have... They just let the Bulls go to town, and Leafs got zapped. Figuratively speaking. Yes, face-offs, 5 out of every 9. The Leafs ended up winning. And the shots were relatively close. But it was just not good. Not good enough. And that's what the Leafs need to avoid. They can't give up so many goals and expect to win. 4 more goals is not good. Let's see what happens. I'm going to wrap this video up. If you like the video, please make sure to click the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. I try to put out videos at least every other week. On that note, I'm going to say, go Leafs go. Go Whitecaps go. Go Raptors go. During the regular season of MLS, go Toronto FC go. And in terms of Canadian, national basketball, hockey, and soccer teams, go Canada go. Oh wait, just before then, I thought I would do a rundown of games take place before then. Just go on Thursday. Yeah, we have among other Canadian teams, we have the Habs hosting the Blue Jackets, Jets in an away game against the Wings, the Sens an away game against the Isles, the Leafs and the Stars, Blues against the Blues hosting the Flames, obviously Flames hosting the Blues, and on Friday we have the Canucks hosting the Blues, and Saturday we have the big batch games here. So Habs hosting the Jets, Sens in an away game against the Pens, Leafs in an away game against the Preds, and the Canucks hosting the Rangers. So I'm gonna go. So just like and subscribe, whatever. I will end this off with mentioning that I try to put out videos at least every other week, and I'm gonna go do much here, and we'll go Leafs go Raptors go Toronto FC go Canada go, and for the MLS Cup playoffs, go Whitecaps go.